Welcome into the campus of Kent State University, where today one of the best rivalries in mid-major athletics adds another chapter to its story as the Akron Zips take on the Kent State Golden Flashes. Good afternoon, everyone. Alongside my partner, Matt Corrali, I'm Andy Jardy. Matt, this has been a tough place for Akron to win. If they want to do so here this afternoon, they'll look to one of the best in the conference in Reagan Bass.
And Reagan Bass is a player that can do it all. She can score from anywhere. She really tracks the ball well off the glass, and she can make her free throws in the blink of an eye. If Kent State wants to come out here and defend their home floor, they really need to keep all eyes on number 34.
You see the numbers there, averaging a double-double a game. The only player in the Mid-American Conference who can claim that stat. Shoemate doing shoemate things Wednesday for the Golden Flashes. She tied a career high with 27 points.
And you were just talking about the double-double machine that Reagan Bass is. Katie Shoemate, every time she steps out on the floor, she should be due for a double-double seemingly every game. Again, she seems to be due for that double-double. She can score from anywhere, tracks the ball well like Reagan Bass. We've got two stars here on this floor this afternoon, and I can't wait to watch it.
And she's closing out her Kent State career in style, scoring 22 or more points in 4 of her last 6 games. Taking a look at the MAC standings, despite the loss to OU, Kent State clinched a spot in the MAC tournament. Right now at the 3 seed, still have a chance to get one of those top 2 if they get some help, and if the Golden Flashes win out. For the Zips, right now outside looking in, top 8 advance. They need a couple wins here down the stretch. You get a look at both of our coaches here. Ryan Gensler for Akron, his first season, taking over for the Zips program, hired in March of 2023. Coming in from Illinois, made an NCAA tournament appearance last year while at Illinois, and his entire coaching staff also in their first year at Akron. And on the Kent State side of things, Todd Starkey in his 8th season, second all-time winningest coach here for the Golden Flashes, 137 wins here at Kent State. He's continued to build this program.
Absolutely, and for head coach Todd Starkey, they just honored him pregame, becoming the second all-time winningest coach in program history. On the other side, Ryan Gensler trying to create a culture here at Akron. It's a rivalry game, Andy. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on indeed. The Golden Flashes control the tip. Wearing their all-gold uniforms. It is a gold out here in the MAC Center as you take a look at those starting lineups brought to you by IBEW NECA. Batch, Shoemate, Dunn, Gray, and Morris. Gray filling in once again for Hauser. Zips now with the possession as you take a look at their lineup as that shot goes in and out. Haney, Clark, Rashid, Bass, and Riley. Riley had herself a good game against the Golden Flashes earlier this season. 3 from the outside is good. The Golden Flashes strike first.
Great transition offense there from the Golden Flashes. They gave it to Shoemate. They saw the paint was clogged, and they flipped it out to Deanna Gray, who was waiting patiently for that 3 ball, and that's how the Flashes get on the scoreboard here first.
Deanna Gray has started 4 games now in place of Hauser. Really sort of learning, a little bit of a learning curve, but doesn't seem to be intimidated by the role whatsoever.
And they seem to continue to push the pace here, trying to tire Akron out early.
Pushing the pace indeed, and that was a big factor in the win earlier this year. Fast break points. Kent State outran Akron 19-3. Shoemate from deep. Trying to chase down, but unable to, and it will be Akron ball. Let's take a look at our keys to the game brought to you by the Ohio State Highway Patrol.
Yeah, for Akron, it seems as though that they need to rise up to another level of play. Toss the record aside. You have a chance to steal a win against your arch rival. That will be huge. That can salvage your season if they can come out on top tonight. And for Kent State, they need to defend the perimeter. One thing that Akron is really good at is the 3-point shot. If they can defend the outside, they will have success here this afternoon.
Yeah, they hit 12 threes last game against BG, and the loss kept them in the game, though, but they are not afraid to let it fly from beyond the arc. Zips get on the board. Morris trying to muscle her way in. Good defense by Riley. Inside and converting. Puts Kent State back up 3, Michaela Morris.
Michaela Morris did a good job rolling inside. Tried to draw some contact from Reagan Bass, no call, but it didn't matter. Kent State now back on top by 3.
She had 16 points last Saturday at Central Michigan, the most she's had against a MAC opponent this season, as we've got a foul away from the ball. Take a look again at Michaela Morris. Nice catch in transition there and converting.
And that's going to be interesting to see how far they use that here in this one. That little inside screen. You saw Morris kind of roll in when no one was looking. She only had Bass in front of her, like I said, but that didn't really matter. Let's see how physical this Kent State team can get in a big rivalry matchup.
Clark gets it inside to Reagan.
Good defense there by Morris.
Three from the outside is good. Knots things up at 5. Zakia Rashid.
And you saw Deanna Gray got a little tricked on that pump fake 3 and it made her jump. You got to stay disciplined on the outside against this Zips team. Like we mentioned, that they shoot the 3 ball really well, so it's all about finding that next level of discipline defensively for Kent State.
Rashid already has matched her total she had the first time against Kent State. Had 3 points in that game. Hits that 3 right there. Shoemate left open for 3. Buries it.
That was a beautiful sequence for the Golden Flashes offensively. Great ball handling by Deanna Gray, knowing what she was going to do all along. Dish it out to number 14, and Katie Shoemate executes on the 3 ball.
Shoemate had an unreal first half at OU on Wednesday, scoring 22 of her 27 points. Anything she put up went in.
And it seems as though that's going to be kind of the key to this game, right? Whichever team can get off to the better start. It seems as though that they can really ride that wave, especially if they're Kent State at home in front of this crowd. They're going to definitely use that to their momentum.
Empty possession there for the Zips, and the Golden Flashes looking to push the pace, going in for the layup and drawing contact in the foul. Deanna Gray will go to the line. Once again, Katie Shoemate, you just cannot give her any sort of space or she'll make you pay.
Absolutely not. And like we said, Katie Shoemate, we said it in the open, right? She can do it all over. And for Kent State, they're kind of attacking the inside here. And honestly, I really like the move because obviously you can see it. Akron is the one that is outsizing Kent State. So try and get those fouls. Try and draw the contact. That way you can get some points at the free throw line from a very good free throw shooting team.
Gray exceptional at the line this year too, 93%. Hits the first. Second one, automatic. One thing, you kind of alluded to this already, but especially here on the road, Akron, you've got to find a way to really just kind of hang around as they turn it over here. But when I talked to Coach Starkey yesterday, talking about the OU loss, you know, they came out, OU hit a couple threes right off the bat, and then Kent State responded. But at the half, it's a 1-point game, and he said going into the locker room, OU had hope. And that's just something, you're playing these teams right now who are desperate to win and get into the MAC tournament, and that's, he said, is sometimes the hardest coaching you have to do because Kent State's already clinched that tournament bid. Now you're facing teams that are fighting for their lives, and that can be really difficult to do.
And it seems as though that the mindset is, watching it from the outside, looking at Kent State and Todd Starkey's kind of game plan, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Because obviously, like you mentioned, you have that MAC tournament seed clinched. So now it's all about trying to just execute against these teams that are really fighting for their playoff lives. And if that kind of goes away, that mindset of, okay, yeah, we'll be fine, we'll just be on cruise control, you could slip in the standings. Anything can happen, especially as we're only in late February, about to conclude in early March. So you got to make sure you win these games, especially on your home floor against a good rival in front of an even better crowd.
Batch, out of control, gets her own miss. Ball loose, ends up in Gray's hands. Gray for 3, a little bit short. And Bass will let it go out of bounds, and Akron will take over, down 5 with 5 to play.
Really interested to see if Akron goes with a set play here on a 3 ball. We haven't really seen it that much so far as we come up on halfway through the first quarter, a little bit over halfway now. And I'm really fascinated to see if they let it fly here, Andy.
Yeah, just 1 of 2 so far from beyond the arc. Bass gets it. Swings it to the outside. They go back inside. Bass through the defenders, gets the bucket to go. And on the other end, Shoemate pressured, but it will stay with Kent State. Golden Flashes up early, 10-7 here. to the Mack Center, where Kent State has a 10-7 lead midway through the first quarter. And just a little over a month ago, these two teams met over in Akron. Golden Flashes coming away with a 69-60 victory. Jenna Batch leading all scorers with 18.
Yeah, and you can see on the screen as well, Shoemate with 14, Bass with 15. The stars came out in that game. And for either team to come out on top, their stars need to come out too. Obviously, this is a team game, basketball, right? 5-on-5. But now you really need your star players, your leaders, to come out in full force, especially with a matchup as heated as Kent State Akron.
I think the big thing, too, to watch is who is going to help Reagan Bass, because Reagan's going to get hers. And in that first meeting, Lene Riley had 14 points, 5 of 6 from the floor, and perfect from beyond the arc. So she hasn't attempted a shot tonight, but there's got to be someone else to help out Reagan Bass if the Zips want to get this one.
And the Zips do have a good supporting cast. Morgan Haney can shoot the three well. She can dish it out. Lene Riley scores 48% from the field. She shoots 43% from three. 17 points in Akron's last game at the loss at Bowling Green. And Kyle Woods, 14 points and 3 steals in that game against BG. So the supporting cast is there. Totally agree with you, Andy. So we'll see if those supporters can really help Reagan and the Zips here in this one.
An offensive foul. We'll give the ball back to the Golden Flashes. The 5-point lead matches their largest so far here. As Deanna Gray once again handling the point guard duties. They go inside to Shoemate. Turnaround is good. Katie Shoemate.
And Shoemate has 7 now. She leads all scorers on the floor right now for both teams, so she is really starting to feel it. I would give it to her and see if how long can she have the hot hand going.
Yeah, it's Shoemate 7, Akron 7 right now. Feed inside. Reagan has it, and it's stripped away. Flash is looking to push the tempo. It's Shoemate.
They seem to slow it down here. Let's see if they can get anything going on the inside.
Batch drives in. Might have gotten away with the walk. Pulling down the board, though. Janae Tyler going up, drawing the foul.
Janae Tyler has really come on in her first year with this program and has really made a name for herself. She's one of the best bench players in the MAC. She can score the ball really well, and that effort right there. She's got 2 Zips around her. She pulls the rebound down. She goes up, gets fouled, has a chance to earn it at the line. It's the little things like that that can really make the difference here in this game, Andy.
Yeah, getting 9 points and 4 rebounds from one of your bench players is a luxury to have, and she comes in and immediately makes her presence known, and she goes to the foul line. First one is good for Tyler. She had her season high in points with 22 and 9 rebounds back in December versus Lake Erie. And makes both. Golden Flash is a perfect 4 for 4 from the line so far, as the lead is now up to 9.
And this may sound silly because this is kind of a given, but both teams, whoever comes out on top, they're going to be the better free throw shooting team, because like we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, these are two very physical teams when they get together, so fouls are going to be a given, it seems like. So who will execute when they get their chance at the line? That's going to be the big question here, and who comes out on top.
Kaya Woods unable to finish. Deanna Gray pushing the tempo the other way. She's able to convert, and it's an 11-point lead for the Golden Flashes.
How about the creativity from number 21? She has come on and really made a name for herself in terms of, all right, we lose Corinne Hauser, so I'm going to come out here and play like I've been the starting point guard for the entire season, and you can see it in the way she leaves it out on the floor.
She's now tied with Shoemate in points with 7 here tonight. Where do the Zips go? They'll try it inside. Off the glass, can't get it to go. Lene Riley shot just off the mark. Here comes Shoemate. Riley guarding Tyler. And we've got a foul underneath. First foul on Riley.
Three new players are coming in for Kent State, so we'll see how they will adjust to this rivalry setting. This is the first time seeing the floor, Andy.
Yeah. Shoemate pulls up. Count it. She can't be stopped. She just can't be stopped right now.
She's been shooting from 3. She's been scoring in the mid-range game. And like we've mentioned before, it's just a matter of time before she really starts to heat up. So Akron's going to take this time out, try and collect themselves here, and figure out a good defensive strategy to not only stop number 14, but everybody else as well.
I like the decision, too, by Starkey there, making the substitutions that he did, because you're just trying to buy some of your players a couple minutes, and they've got a lead here. You've got 1:39 to go in the first quarter, so you give them the rest of that quarter off, give them the chance to catch their breath and be ready to go for the second quarter. As you take a look at Katie Shumate, we talked about it in the open, tied a career high with 27 points. Oh, and she just chipped in with 11 rebounds too. Just another day at the office.
Yeah, she can do more than just score the basketball. She definitely can crash the glass, be physical when she's up in the air, pull down those rebounds, and you're going to have to do it against a team in Akron that is very, very physical. They beat you in height, so now it's going to be a matter of, all right, how much will are you going to have in order to really pull down those boards and try and score on the other end?
I asked Coach Starkey yesterday, do you ever get tired of talking about how great she is? And he said, well, no, but I am starting to realize it is coming to an end here in a couple of more games, so that part is really sad, as the Golden Flashes had some miscommunication there in transition.
And it's funny you say that, because Kent State seemed to have veteran leaders as well last season, and it was going to be interesting to see how they would kind of adjust with the graduation of those seniors, and they have done just fine. They have 15 wins on the year, 10 of those coming in conference play. That is huge for this Golden Flashes team, so it seems to be a new era in some sort of ways, and they have been settling in just fine.
Couple missed opportunities here for the Zips, and a jump ball possession arrow will keep it with Akron. But the Zips right now just struggling to put it in the hoop. They've had a couple of opportunities right at the rim, just unable to convert them.
And there just seems to be a lid on the glass when it comes to Akron trying to make these shots. So it's just a matter of, hey, if we can get one, what if we can go on a run here? So right here, I would turn to Reagan Bass, but here comes the Flashes here, Andy.
Kaylee Perkins with the block, and it leads to Abby Ogle on the other end. Those are the kind of plays, too, in a game like this when it comes from some of the unexpected players. Kaylee Perkins hasn't seen the floor a whole lot this year, but comes down with the block, and it leads to Ogle on the other end. And the defense right now, impressive for Kent State, but a much-needed back bucket right there from Akron.
Oh, yeah, the Golden Flashes really made sure that the paint was blocked. There were about 4 yellow jerseys in there, but Akron managed to find the basket, so now Kent State will hold on for the final shot.
As good an opening quarter as you could hope so far if you're a Kent State fan. They will hold for the last shot here. And it'll be an offensive foul, so the Zips will have a chance to get a little bit of momentum here before the end of the quarter. Unable to get a shot off at the buzzer. That will do it for the first quarter, as Kent State leads 22-9. Getting it done in transition, Abby Ogle. Katie Shumate once again on a tear here in the opening quarter. She's got 9 points to lead all scorers in this one, and just continuing to impress.
Yeah, she's dominating this first quarter right now, so it's going to take a real point of emphasis when it comes to Akron's defensive style of play. We need to stop number 14 and get execution on the other side of the floor. That is the way we are going to win this game.
Take a look at her numbers. 9 points, 4 of 6 from the floor, and 1 of 2 from beyond the arc. And I got here a couple hours before the game. She was out on the court shooting. She was the first one in here, and just her work ethic and just the confidence that she plays with is impressive.
And I feel as though that comes with time, that comes with that leadership role that she has with this team. She has to lead by example, so what am I going to do? I'm going to be the first one out on the floor to getting up shots, and it has paid off in dividends so far through the first 10 minutes.
Morris gets the turnaround to fall. Tough first quarter for the Zips, just 4 of 14 from the floor. And fast break points too, one thing that Kent State dominated in that first meeting. 6-0 in favor of the Golden Flashes in that opening quarter. It was 19-3 in that meeting over a month ago.
And I'm interested to see how much will Michaela Morris be an impact in this game as Reagan Bass gets back into the scoring column. She has 4. So are they going to feed it to her? Because she's been a factor here so far.
And on the other end, count the bucket. Elena Meyer will go to the line to try and make it a 3-point play.
Taking a look at it, Elena Meyer getting inside, getting that contact. A little off balance, but she seems to chuck it off the glass. And this Kent State bench has really good depth. It's one of the best in the conference. So if they come out in a dominating fashion, if this becomes a blowout game like it has been so far through the first quarter and some change, it's going to be because the bench from the Golden Flashes stepped up and was able to execute offensively and defensively.
Yeah, it's amazing how they have just methodically built this lead that they have here. Just fundamentals. They're playing defense and they're converting on the other end. Sometimes it's as simple as that.
And I really like what you said, kind of going back to Coach Starkey saying, look, we have still something to play for even though we have that tournament spot clinched as Lene Riley gets the and one there. You can't really afford to just kind of throw in the towel, and especially with the fact that these teams are trying to get in. You can see the contact from Riley, and she manages to put it in, and a chance to come later on here. But like we mentioned, Akron's fighting for their lives. Nothing's guaranteed with the Zips, and for Kent State to come in here and play aggressive, it's a positive thing to see if you're a fan of the Golden Flashes.
Lene Riley fired up after converting that bucket. She'll try to make it a 3-point play. She's coming off a 17-point game versus Bowling Green on Wednesday, which led the Zips in scoring, and she does get that one to fall. So Zips now applying some full court pressure, and it forces a turnover. The Zips will get to inbound from right under the basket because nobody touched that for Kent State on the inbound.
So far, as you can see on the screen, turnovers are pretty even, but if one team starts to get a lot more careless, that is going to leave the other team to go on a huge run. It's going to be fun to watch as we go along here, Andy.
Kaya Woods throws it to the outside for 3, and it's good. Just like that now. It's a 10-point game.
Kent State's pushing the tempo. Here we go.
They waste no time.
And now that you're defensively for Akron, you kind of have to match their tempo. You kind of have to hit another gear. Like we mentioned in our keys to the game, you kind of have to find another level. Look, it doesn't matter what your record is. It doesn't matter that your MAC tournament hopes are on the line. It's just a matter of, all right, let's just shock the world here on our arch rivals' home floor, and let's just find another level as they are now back in the scoring column as Reagan Bass contributes another layup.
Bass now up to 6 points, gets that one to go and gets it back to a 10-point game. So this was something we saw the Flashes struggle with at OU, where they were unable to build on leads that they had built, and they kind of let OU hang around, and then the Bobcats were able to come away with that victory as Shoemate is going to draw the foul here. Take a look. Kaya Woods finding Morgan Haney open for the 3. And that's what we talk about. Someone's got to step up and help Reagan Bass because it can't just be her. Haney coming off an 11-point performance Wednesday versus Bowling Green.
Haney, we mentioned, she's a good 3-point shooter, so if you kind of need to start chipping away, the 3 ball from Morgan Haney is not the worst idea in the world if you're Akron head coach Ryan Gensler.
Shoemate in the spin cycle right there will go to the line and shoot for 2. Converts the first one, 80% on the season, the preseason first team All-MAC.
And I want to go back to a point you made about how the last game they had against OU, where they seemed to have a lead and they didn't really kind of let up, I should say. They kind of just let OU hang around. You think that was a point of emphasis from head coach Todd Starkey? I mean, this is just, whenever Akron seems to punch them in the mouth, Kent State has a counterpunch. So now it's seemingly a really big lead. This it's only an 11-point game, but it feels a lot bigger because of that.
Returning for the Flashes, number 22, Abby Ogle.
Abby Ogle checks back in for Kent State. 7:20 to go here, second quarter.
Kent State working on the outside, they'll go in.
Just a little too much on that pass for Tyler. And the Zips will take over. Trying to just chip away at this thing. Woods gives it over to Clark. They're trying to get it inside. Shot clock under 10. They go inside to Bragan. Bass off the glass, gets it to go. And with that bucket now, she is 7th all-time in Akron scoring.
Janae Tyler on the other end. Really good transition there from Kent State to go back on top by 12.
Flashes back up 12. Reagan Bass now 10th all-time scoring in Akron, passing Casey O'Connor. Here we go, flashes on the other end, pushing the pace. Jenna Batch. And it's another timeout by the Akron Zips. As you mentioned it, anytime Akron seems to kind of be finding some rhythm, Kent State's just had a counterpunch.
And it's a matter of finding another level. Let's push the tempo, let's catch them off guard, and that's what they're doing here with 6:11 left to go in the half.
Golden Flashes lead by 14 midway through the second quarter. Back into the Mack Center where Kent State leads Akron 35-21 as you take a look at the Zips stats here on the season. Averaging just over 60 points a game, and they're allowing more than they're scoring, which is never a good recipe to find a way into the win column as they are in their first season under head coach Ryan Gensler. But the Zips just trying to kind of figure out who they are down the stretch.
Absolutely. You know, first year with a head coach, it's all about establishing a culture, right? You got a new guy taking the reins. So now it's all a matter of, okay, what can I do to help these girls out? What can I do in this first season? And so far, when you take a look at this game in particular, you're down by 14. So it's all about finding another level, just going back to the basics. That's how Akron is going to come back in this one because they have the names, they have the talent to come back and win. It's just a matter of executing it on the floor.
Haney gets it inside to Bass, and a foul before the shot. Well, it's been a better second quarter for Akron than that opening quarter. They trailed 22-9 after the first. And second quarter, they've already scored 12 points, so they've done a much better job on the offensive side of things. They just couldn't buy a bucket in that opening quarter.
So now, like you said, they're starting to find their rhythm offensively, but they really need to start translating that on the defensive side of the floor. So obviously, step one is to guard Katie Shoemate, make sure she's on lockdown, and just maybe try and clog the paint. Kent State's bulk of points have really been from the mid-range, from inside, because they're going fast tempo, and the end result has been underneath the bucket.
As you see on the graphic, too, one way that you're going to find a way to get back into the game is if you get stops like they do right here, but Kent State has made 10 of their last 11 field goals. Picking the pocket and scoring, Kaya Woods.
And like we mentioned earlier, Kaya Woods had 3 steals in Akron's last game against Bowling Green, and that type of play is going to, hopefully for the Akron side of things, be something where they can kind of go on a little bit of run and find a new spark on defense that they haven't found yet here this afternoon.
She had 14 points in the first meeting and 3 steals. Muscling in and converting, Janae Tyler. Woods for 3. Can't get that one to fall. Shoemate pulls down the board. Flashes once again, looking to push that tempo and just unable to corral it. Kaylee Perkins, it looked like she was already ready to shoot it before she caught it and just went right off her hands in the corner.
You ever watch NFL or college football and a wide open wide receiver just has it go through his mitts because he was thinking about scoring the go-ahead touchdown? That's exactly what happened there. It's just a matter of settling down and making sure that you don't really let this spiral out of control here, even though you're up big.
Yeah, the Zips got to try to find a way to get some momentum here before the half. That's a good start. Lisa Toppinen, the pride of Finland, gets the bucket to go.
And the pride of Finland has her first 2 points on the afternoon, so it's going to take, like we've mentioned, that supporting cast that's not named Reagan Bass. Can her teammates step up and help her out in the stat sheet?
Gray for three, unable to convert. Bass pulls down the board. And a chance if they are able to hit a three to get this thing into single digits. Kaya Woods has other thoughts though, goes right between the defenders but can't convert. Gray hands off to Shoemate, a little too strong. And unable to save it, it'll go back over to the Zips. A little bit of a frenetic pace here these last couple possessions.
And that's what we kind of expected, right, with these two hours. You're going to see bodies flying. If there's a loose ball, expect a lot of Janae Towers, just kind of throwing it up, just being like, can we get something going? Trying to get a new possession instead of just having it go out of bounds the other way.
Feed inside again to Toppin, and she's unable to get that one to go though. And a foul underneath, I believe, is going to be against Kent State. And a lot of confused Golden Flashes faces right now. Coach Starkey wants an explanation.
So now you're giving Akron another chance here. Underneath the basket, obviously you have Bass along with Tempinen on the floor right now, so let's see if they go inside or change it up.
Kaya Woods playing with a little bit of a pep in her step. She's made a couple shots here, had that big steal. Three from the outside, rattles out, but Bass pulls down the board. And it's gonna stay with the Zips. Can kind of sense though that there is a little bit more of urgency from Akron right now. They're trying to, it feels like they're a bucket or two away from really kind of grabbing a hold of the momentum here.
Yeah, and I see on the defensive side of things that when Kent State pushes, especially in these last 2 minutes, ever since coming out of the break, Akron has really managed to defend that better. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep that up here and execute on the offensive end as well.
Woods got the shot fake she wanted, but then she took her steps before she dribbled and turns it over. Take a look at the numbers for Kent this season. One of the top scoring teams in the MAC, 72, just under 73 points a game, and one of the best defenses too as that pass goes awry.
And you can also see on the graphic 40 rebounds averaging on the season, and this Akron team can really crash the boards too. They had 24 offensive boards in a game on the 10th versus Arkansas State, so that's going to be another factor in who comes out on top. Who is going to out-physical the other and really just make sure that they're coming down with these rebounds.
Bass from the free throw line. Draws some attention. Kaya Woods between the defenders. That shot rejected, and it's knocked out of bounds off of her. It'll go to Kent State. Tatiana Thomas was having none of it.
I mean, let's check it out. You can see, get that out of here. Tatiana Thomas hasn't really been huge on the stat sheet, but that play could provide a spark in not only within the team, but in this building here at the MAC Center.
Can you tell it's a rivalry too after that rejection? She sort of stared her down and clapped.
100%.
Thomas over to Gray. Gray can't convert. And Bass pulls down the board. Zips looking to run now. So a couple empty possessions, and I'm telling you, Akron, they're about a shot or two away from feeling pretty okay going into the locker room here at the half if they can get these stops and get some buckets.
Something that's interesting to me as I'm watching this kind of unfold is when Akron kind of goes fast tempo, they slow it down. So can they really kind of catch Kent State off guard? If we have a travel, so the possession will go back to Kent State, but that's something I'm interested in seeing as this game kind of plays out.
2 minutes to go until halftime, and another turnover there by Akron. Their 8th of the game. They just can't get that one possession to go through that they can build off of. Can the Golden Flashes make them pay?
Little off-ball movement down low. Let's see if they go down there.
Jenna Batch gets around her defender and scores.
Great job made there by Jenna Batch, making sure that she has a little bit of a slip, goes to her left, and has a wide open layup on the right side.
So her first points of the afternoon. she's one of the best in the MAC, 13.5 points per game, 8th best in the conference. And a blocking foul, count the bucket. Tanisha Clark drives in.
That was a great move made by Tanisha Clark on the pass fake, left-handed layup. She had a little bit of a cross that got her open space on the floor, and now she has a chance to cut it to an 11-point deficit.
Can't convert the three-point play, though. So it stays a 12-point lead for Kent State. About a minute to go here in this second quarter. Flashes came out hot in that first quarter, led 22-9 after one. Shot clock down to 10. Gray has it.
A lot of pick and rolls going. Let's see if Thomas does it here.
Batch pulls up. Unable to get it. It goes out of bounds. It'll be Zips ball. Have an opportunity for a 2-for-1 if they get down there quickly and take a shot. They look content to take their time here.
And a bucket here for Akron would definitely give them a little bit of momentum here, especially if they can stop Kent State on the other end.
Shot clock down to 8. Haney pulls up for 3 and gets it. And it's a single-digit deficit now.
Cold-blooded from Morgan Haney. Let's see if they can now stop the Flashes, because this would be huge going into the locker room here.
7 to shoot. Gray to Shoemate. Shoemate pulls up. Rattles out. Bass pulls down the board. And that will do it for the first half. So the Zips find a little bit of momentum there. And it's a 39-30 lead for Kent State. Halftime here in Kent, where the Golden Flashes lead Akron 39-30. After an entertaining first half, Kent State jumped out to a large lead in that first quarter, led by as many as 16, but Akron found a little bit of momentum there towards the end of the half and only trailed this thing by 9.
They did, and it felt as if it was a matter of tempo. Kent State really pushed the ball. They did that especially in the first quarter, and that got out to a 22-9 lead, but Akron responded to that and did a little bit of it their own, and we should have a really good finish here this afternoon.
You take a look at these stats, and they're pretty evenly matched. Points in the paint was something, too, that popped off the page to me. Both of them tied at 18 in the turnover battle. Akron was a little shaky there to start this game. Kent State came out through the first punch, but the Zips have responded, find themselves with something that Coach Starkey feared, and that was hope. And that's what OU had last time out for Kent State. They trailed, they cut into it, and had hope going into the locker room at halftime, and that's something that I feel like the Zips might think they have right now as well. And our star players tonight that we talked about pregame, still doing things here for us too. Reagan Bass.
Yeah, she's got 8 points so far on the ledger, 5 boards, and it feels as though that since with that Akron make and Kent State miss right before the break, this could really spark a good Akron comeback here, and the one that's going to lead it is going to be number 34.
And for Kent State, Katie Shoemate came out, and for a while there, she was tied with Akron. It was 7-7. Shoemate has 11 points to lead all scorers here so far.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how they use Katie Shoemate, because she kind of scored from all over. She used the 3-ball to her advantage. She used the mid-range. So now it's going to be a matter of, okay, it's going to be a certain aspect of Katie Shoemate's game that Akron can't stop, or are they just going to let her score all over?
So 39-30, your score at the break. Second half action coming up here real soon. Third quarter just about set to get underway. Kent State with a 39-30 lead over Akron. And before the game, Coach Todd Starkey of the Golden Flashes, honored for becoming the second all-time winningest coach here at Kent State, trailing just Bob Lindsay now as he picked up his career win number 137.
And Todd Starkey, ever since he took over this program, has embodied what this team is all about. He has been a great leader for the last 7 or 8 seasons he's been at the helm here at Kent State.
Picked up his 300th career win versus Bowling Green on January 27th. And since he's been here, the Golden Flashes with 4 WNIT appearances. He was the 2017 MAC Coach of the Year. We take a look now at our keys to the game, brought to you by Ohio State Highway Patrol. And you talked about these early on. Someone else has to rise up to match Kent State's level of play, and we saw that from the Zips in the second quarter. And it was encouraging for Akron, especially because it was towards the end and right at the end of the first half. So let's see if they can transition that into the start of the second half and beyond. And for Kent State, to be honest, the 3-ball hasn't really been the go-to for Akron, so maybe you would go to what you've been doing, right? Clog the perimeter. Akron beats you in height on the stat sheet and on the floor visually, so it's going to be a matter of, okay, can we now make them a little uncomfortable here and try to have the 3-ball going? Because they could be rusty coming out because of the fact that they haven't done it so often. MAC standings, Kent State at the 3 seed right now. Akron on the outside looking in. Top 8 will advance to play in Cleveland. So the Zips need some wins here down the stretch. They're going to have opportunities, though, because the rest of their opponents, well, they've got a tough one with Ball State next, but then they get Northern Illinois, Ohio, and Central Michigan. So they're going to be seeing some teams that are also fighting, which is going to make it real interesting here down the final week of the season. And like we've mentioned, they can't just let up because they're playing a team that is kind of on the verge of not knowing what their future is going to look like. So even though, like you see on your screen, they already have a MAC tournament spot clinched, you can't really let that determine your play the rest of the regular season. You've got to come out and make sure that you're taking care of business. Again, if it's not broke, don't fix it when it comes to your gameplay, because you are there for a reason. Yeah, the Golden Flashes, they still could potentially end up with a 1 or 2 seed in that MAC tournament. They're going to have their chances. They're going to seed Ball State. They're going to play Toledo still, but they're going to need some help from other teams to knock those teams off as well. So the Zips will start with the ball here to start the third quarter, trailing by 9. They won the second quarter 21-17 after scoring just 9 points in that first quarter. And the turnaround doesn't fall. Sometimes those are the breaks when you're on the road. Yeah, everything but, right? That was a great game strategy made there by Lene Riley. Good move, just couldn't get it to fall. So the Golden Flashes have led this thing from the beginning, trying to find a way to put an opponent away, something they were unable to do Wednesday at OU. Driving in, getting it to go off the glass, Michaela Morris back to a double-digit lead. 6-2 against 6-2, so Michaela Morris just bullied her way inside, got the right-handed layup to fall. So now Kent State is back on top by 11. Morris now with 6 points and perfect from the floor. These first few minutes coming out of the half are always so crucial in determining the outcome of the game. Bass with the hook shot can't get it to fall. And it's also interesting because you're kind of, looks like they're kind of feeling each other out, which is fascinating in the sense that this is the start of the second half. They kind of know what they're coming out of. It seems as though that both coaches seem to have a changed game plan to try and take this thing home. But let's take a look at Morris. Just bullies Lene Riley inside, gets a little contact and separation, gets it off the window to go. Golden Flashes by 11. Inside to Shoemate, Bass guarding her. Shoemate off the glass, fights for her own rebound, but it's off of her and it'll go back over to the Zips. Obviously it's a mismatch on paper and when you see it on your screen, but that's going to be a matchup that I'm really interested to see. Will we see Shoemate and Bass go toe-to-toe like that again? Like we mentioned throughout the game, these teams have a lot of good supporting casts, but those are the stars, right? It's going to be interesting to see who wins that head-to-head. Clark drives in, gets Shoemate up in the air, tries to get her own miss and knocks it right into the hands of Jenna Batch. Over to Shoemate, now it's back to Batch. Batch pulls up from 3, count it. You can't forget about Jenna Batch. She was left wide open out near the wing and she took full advantage to tack on 3 more for the Golden Flashes. Batch now with 7 points. Just like that, Kent State now up 14. A lot of off-ball movement for Akron here, Andy. They try to get inside to Bass, and she is fouled. Her and Deanna Gray getting caught up there. As you see Batch left open, makes the Zips pay for it. Her first 3 of the night.
And that was going back to the last play. That was a good foul from Deanna Gray because that is arguably the biggest mismatch out on the floor regarding Reagan Bass. So in order for her to not get it easy, had to draw that contact and get the foul so they can try again.
Rashid for 3. Toppin and fighting for the board, and it'll stay with Akron off Kent State. Batch, the last time out against Akron, led all scorers with 18 points. Just has 7 so far here this afternoon. Rashid tries again, this time converts.
Great ball movement there from Akron. You saw the double team from Reagan Bass. Someone had to be open, and there she was in the corner, back to an 11-point game.
And so far, we've seen this star matchup here with Shoemate and Bass. Bass has won the last 2, has forced Shoemate into 2 difficult shots, and Flashes haven't been able to convert.
And I wonder if that was something that head coach Ryan Gensler of the Zips pointed out to Reagan Bass. He was like, look, we need to stop number 14, so just impose your will. Make sure that you stay on her and try and get that mismatch going, because she has really taken this Golden Flashes team to a new level in that first half.
Toppinen spins around, unable to convert though.
Golden Flashes trying to push the pace here, Andy.
Something that they were able to do very well in that opening quarter. Michaela Morris just once again was bullying her way down in there, but unable to convert. 6:20 to go here, third quarter. Zips trailed by 9 at the half. You saw Jenna Batch make a 3 a couple trips ago. She's the best for the Golden Flashes at 37%, but you got 3 shooters that can really light it up from beyond the arc, which makes Kent State so dangerous.
Yeah, and especially in a game like this one, I feel like if they start to get hot with the 3 ball at this point of the game, it could really start to run away from the Akron Zips. So if you're Akron, you really need to make sure that you've got eyes on all shooters and force them to go down low in something that they feel uncomfortable with.
Bass was denied. Shoemate now bringing the ball up. Nice pass underneath, converted. Michaela Morris.
They don't.
Janae Tyler, excuse me.
You're all good. They don't want a good shot, they want the best shot. And right there, that extra give to Janae Tyler gave Kent State a wide open look, and 2 more tacked on here on the scoreboard.
Tyler now with 10 points, perfect from the floor as well. Go inside to Toppinen, and she shuffled her feet.
Traveling violation, Kent State ball.
Look back at the bucket here from Tyler, but what a pass from Tatiana Thomas as well, finding her underneath.
Yeah, that was a great pass, and even though she had a girl on her, she managed to kind of swoop it in there and made sure that Janae Tyler caught it and executed.
They go inside. Tyler again turns around. Count it. She can't be stopped.
What a third quarter for Janae Tyler. She's got 12 points, and she is fired up. It's taken now a total team effort here from Kent State to come out on top to this deficit.
The lead back up to 15. Tyler perfect from the floor. Back here in the Mack Center where Kent State has pushed the lead up to 15, leading 48-33, 5:23 to go here in the third quarter. Take a look at the last 5 MAC games for the Golden Flashes. Not a typo on your screen there. That's the old forfeit that'll get you every now and then, as the Central Michigan Chippewas were unable to compete in that game. But Kent State, aside from that loss to OU, playing some good ball here down the stretch.
Yes, they are. As you can see, winners of 3 of those last 5. And it's coming at a really good time. Late February, early March, the regular season starting to wrap up. And we've mentioned it all day, Andy. They have that tournament spot clinched, but that is no reason why you should let up. They are finishing out this whole season, and so far you can really see it on the scoreboard with a 15-point game.
I think Coach Starkey's got to be very pleased with how his team has come out here after sort of coasting at the end of the second quarter, letting Akron back into it. but they've come out here, and it looks very similar to what we saw how they started the game.
And it seems to me that that was a talking point in the locker room at halftime with Todd Starkey and his crew. Like, look, we need to keep our foot on the gas. As for Akron, that was Alexis Stewart with the top of the key three. So now you really have to go back, find what worked in the first quarter, and they're doing just that with creative shot making and execution on defense.
Alexis Stewart with that three out of Hamilton, Ontario. First meeting against the Golden Flashes did not score, so she finds her way into the scoring column here. Gets it back to a 12-point deficit and turnover the other way. Alexis Stewart pulling up from three, trying to keep the Zips in it, down 12. About halfway through the third quarter, 4:36 to go. The Zips down 12 here, trying to fight their way back into this. As you take a look at their last 5 MAC games, a couple wins in there. The losses are to teams you would maybe expect to have losses to. The BG loss, though, coming off of that one, they lit it up from beyond the arc, just couldn't get stops defensively.
Yeah, and that's kind of how this game has played out. Especially with the fact that they couldn't get those stops defensively. The points are more coming from the inside, it seems to be, for the Akron Zips. So it's just a matter of just finding your ground, being disciplined. We talked about rising to that next level all day long. Can they find it on the defensive side of the floor? Because if they do, this will be a really close finish.
As we talked about, too, the top 8 teams advance to the MAC tournament. Akron currently in that number 9 spot, but they're going to have their chances. They'll play OU, they'll play Central Michigan. They'll have a chance to pick up some wins here and find their way into Cleveland. A win here would certainly help the cause if they're able to pull one out here on the road. Open in the corner, but unable to convert it is Alexis Mobley.
Kent State seemed to be kind of going in a zone where they kind of mobbed the paint there. They had an open look three, and luckily, if you're in the camp of Kent State, it didn't fall through. But that was an interesting defensive choice. Let's see if they can either go away from that or if they'll stick to it, hoping for some confidence with a new defensive look.
Interestingly enough, too, thank goodness there wasn't a breakaway the other way. One of the cheerleading signs was still out at half court there, and they were able to get it. It was just a giant S on the floor. Shoemate. Good defense by the Zips, forcing her into a turnover. Kaya Woods pulls up, and Shoemate got back and made the play, and that's just the type of play that exemplifies her.
She came out of nowhere. Let's see if she can execute on the offensive end as well, down low.
She will go to the line to shoot, too, but what a sequence of events there for Katie Shoemate. You can tell she wasn't happy that she got blocked. She came back, though, and blocked it on the other end.
She kind of thought of that as like Kaya Woods has no idea what's about to happen to her. She just blocked it from behind. Now she executes on the other end in the form of getting 2 more at the free throw line from a very good shooter, might I add.
She might be the fastest free throw shooter, too. As soon as she gets it, that thing is up.
We talked about this with Dan Griffin when we had the ODU game. Dan said no one does anything. I've never seen anyone do anything faster than Katie's Shoemate shooting free throws. Just grab the ball, shoot it, and we're fine. Takes very little time.
Don't overthink it. Golden Flash is a perfect 9 of 9 from the free throw line. Akron has only been there for 2 attempts, and Alexis Stewart coming in and hitting some threes, giving Akron some life.
Alexis Stewart has 6 so far on the ledger, so now it's back to an 11-point game. Like we talked about all day, can Akron find that other level on defense and make this thing close and really go into the fourth quarter with a newfound level of confidence?
Stewart has pretty much doubled her season average of 3.2 points a game with those 2 threes so far. See if the Zips get it back to her. She's got the hot hand right now. Haney looking for help.
Not a whole lot of movement from Akron offensively. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with it here.
Stewart into Bass, but it's knocked away. I asked Coach Starkey about defending Bass, and how do you go about doing that? Do you just accept that she's going to get her own, or how do you go about containing her? And he said, well, the good thing is they have to get the ball to her. So if we can take that away, it makes it a much easier task, and you saw that played out right there. She's going to get her points, but if you can make it harder for everyone else on the floor, it's going to go a long way.
And this is going to be another game where, you know, whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win the game. And Akron came in as a team that can really swipe the ball, as that was Michaela Morris on the mid-range. But it's actually been Kent State that have been swiping these balls and kind of going the other way and executing on the offensive end.
The second half has pretty much been in that 9 to 15 point window. The Zips have been unable to string together enough stops to claw back into this thing.
Checking in for the Flashes, number 12, Jenna Mack, and number 34, Tyler.
Turnover battle, surprisingly, is tied 10 to 10.
And I feel like a big reason why, like we mentioned earlier, it's just the physicality, the nature. This is, for my money, Andy, the best mid-major rivalry in the nation. So at any level. So when you get these two teams together, there are going to be bodies flying around. There's going to be turnovers, like you said. And that 10-10, again, I believe is a big reason why that's been the case.
Nice job in transition, but unable to finish it. It's a great point that you mentioned, too, about the rivalry. I asked Coach Starkey about it. What makes this such a great rivalry? And obviously, the proximity is sort of the first thing that jumps off the page with these schools being so close. You don't really get a whole lot of those rivalries. You get border wars and state borders and stuff like that, but really, I mean, it's like Kent State, Akron. You've got Cincinnati, Xavier, Duke, Carolina are some of those ones that are immediately close. But the thing that he talked to about it is, it's all like in the community. So you'll go out to shops or whatever, and you see people wearing Kent State and Akron stuff. It's pretty divided. The players know each other. They play against each other. Toledo Bowling Green was another rivalry that he brought up too. And growing up in the Toledo area, yes, I can attest that that is a great rivalry. As Shoemate pulls up for three.
And I feel like another big reason why that's the case is especially, you can make the case with men's basketball being the way it's been for the last 2-3 years. They're both contenders. And that kind of bleeds into the other sports a lot because they know what's at stake. They know there's bragging rights on the line. Akron, and especially in this case, Akron's coming in not knowing what their future is going to look like. For Kent State, their spot is secure, but they want to come out and not let Akron win on their home floor. And you can see why. That Katie Shoemate block is just how this rivalry has been good. And here we go, 15 seconds, Andy.
Her and Bass have had quite the matchup here in this second half. Both have had their way with each other at times, and it's been very entertaining. Kent State has matched its largest lead here at 16, looking to add to it. Down to 1, pull up, in and out. After 3, it's Kent State 55, Akron 39. Katie Shoemate from beyond the arc. Nothing but net. Crunch time here in the Mack Center as the Golden Flashes lead Akron 55-39. We knew it was a gold out here today. We did not know they would also be hosting a block party because the Golden Flashes have 5 blocks on the afternoon, and they're one of the best in the MAC.
And it especially came on in the second half, right? I feel as though that there was a little bit of sense of urgency. They were up by 9 at the break, but coming out, it felt like a lot closer. So Kent State really rose up to another level on defense, made sure that they were getting steals, they were getting blocks, they were physical when they didn't have the basketball, and that led to points. And I feel like that's a big reason why Kent State is now up by 16 as we enter the final quarter.
No surprise, the leading blocker for Kent State, Katie Shoemate, who leads just about every category all the time. She's got 2, Perkins has 1, Thomas 1, Tyler has 1 as well, as the Zips get the fourth quarter off on the right foot with the bucket.
That was a nice move there from Tanisha Clark. Left-handed layup, putting on the accelerators, getting past her defenders. Good start there for the Zips to begin the fourth.
It's all about getting stops here for Akron. If they're going to have any chance to come back in this, you can score all you want, but if they're not going to get stops defensively, it won't matter. Be a tall task here, though. 9:20 to go. Reagan Bass joining in on the block party.
And you know what? I liked, even though it ended up being a block from Reagan Bass, I liked the mindset behind that. Look, we're up by 14. Let's take a look at it again. Reagan Bass not having to do so much, put her hands up, jump with her, and swat it with the left hand. And we have a foul down low, but they're like, we're in no rush. We're in the fourth quarter where we're up by 14. Let's just milk this clock down, get the stops on defense, and get out of here with another win.
Jenna Batch will go to the line to shoot 2. And gets the first one to go. Batch closing in on another double-digit scoring performance, as she's done that in 12 of her last 13 games. Had a career-high 25 versus Western Michigan just a couple weeks ago. Now has 9 points this afternoon.
A lot of movement here from Akron offensively. Kind of going down low, but now they're going out to the perimeter.
Morgan Haney's 3 is no good. You wonder if Akron, sensing that their only way to maybe get back into this is to start to hit some from beyond the arc.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. Obviously, we've been talking about it all day. You gotta execute on defense. Through 3 quarters, they haven't as well as Kent State has. That's why the score is the way it is, but you need those threes, but you also need those defensive stops, and they need to come in a big way and fast.
16 points, ties the largest lead Kent State has had today. And you can see once again, just very methodical about their sets. Great as I say that, they pull up for a mid-range jumper. Thought they'd work some more of the shot clock there.
So we'll see if Akron can execute here, as there's a loose ball. And here come the flashes the other way with Deanna Gray.
Gray, great vision up top. Batch will go to the line to shoot 2. As the Golden Flashes will go back to the free throw line, and that has been pretty good spot for them tonight. 11 of 11 from the floor. She's Deanna Gray leading the free throw shooting of the Kent State Golden Flashes, 93%.
You know, when it comes to great teams in college basketball, teams that are in the top 3 seeds, I feel like that's a big reason why that graphic was just there. You have 3 shooters on this team that you feel like every time you can go to the line, you expect them to nail down those 2. We had Deanna Gray that's shooting 93%, 2 other Flashes that shoot 80% from the line. Just getting those points at the line, those are the little things that can help you win big-time games.
And that's been one of Coach Starkey's biggest points of emphasis since he took over, is getting to the free throw line. Kent State shoots almost as many free throw, one of the most free throw shooting teams in the country since he's taken over. And they have made their way there a lot here this afternoon.
And it's interesting you say that, because this isn't really a team that's has a height in their strength. Tallest player is 6'3", so it's just a matter of trying to get inside, drawing the contact. This is a very physical team, and we've been seeing that on full display here tonight, and maybe more so than others. So it's just all about getting those opportunities and executing them. Kent State has done that all season long.
Well, if you blink, you just miss Shoemate make 2 free throws because, again, wasting no time. Kent State now up by 19. Zips are going to have to find some offense in a hurry, and that's one way to find it. Alexis Stewart, out of nowhere, has hit 3 threes this afternoon.
She has been really good shooting the basketball. 9 points on the ledger so far. Do they go to her to try and chip away at this Kent State lead? It's going to be interesting to watch.
Janae Tyler, though, on the other end. Left open, converts. Stewart, by the way, now has matched her season high of 9 points. Tyler now with 14. This possession taken a lot of time. Bass just had trouble holding on to it. I think she double dribbled.
Yeah, it seemed as though they wanted a set play. It took a lot longer than they thought it would. Kent State did really good defensively on that possession. And now it seems as though Reagan Bass, along with Kaya Woods, will take a seat.
7:03 to go. Zips applying some pressure here, full court. Shoemate picks it apart though. Open three from the corner is good. Bridget Dunn.
It's a nice way to get your first 3 points of the game.
It'll help, yeah, that'll make you feel good.
Corner three, fourth quarter. Now a 21-point lead for Kent State. That's huge.
Toppinen chases it down. Haney pulls up. Can't convert. Golden Flashes, we'll see how they play out these next 6 minutes and 15 seconds, but look to have this one in hand. Batch can't convert.
And if they hold on here, we know there's 6 minutes left, anything can happen. But up 21, they definitely needed this, especially after the loss their last time out against OU. A dominant performance here so far. Let's see if they can hang on here for the last 5:53.
Yeah, and you always worry about that game before the rivalry game. Like, is it a trap game? You're on the road. Coach Starkey didn't feel like it was, because they answered when OU would go on runs, but they just were unable to stop them as Stewart finally misses from beyond the arc. But they got in their own way at times, and sometimes you just lose, and that's kind of what happened.
And even though they kind of got in their own way, they fell short. I loved his mindset. Look, every game is important in college basketball. Every game is important in the sport of basketball. That's exactly what his mindset was, that there's no such thing as a game takes higher priority than the other one, even though you had a rivalry game in your building. You had to take care of business. They didn't, but again, I liked where his mindset was at.
Zips come away with it. Open three from the corner, too much. This is a rivalry game that the Golden Flashes have pretty much dominated. Coach Starkey, with a win here, would now go to 12-3 against Akron since he's been here. Kent State leads it all-time series 59-18. They're 32-6 in this building. Well, the only good thing Kent State has done these last two possessions is work the shot clock literally all the way down to zero. They haven't scored, but they've taken a minute off the clock.
And Akron realizes that. You saw how fast they went up-tempo, so now Kent State will try to get something slow. So, look, Akron is a really good team in terms of forcing turnovers. You definitely need them right here.
Dunn goes inside. Turnaround for Tyler is good. What a ball game for Janae Tyler. Timeout by Akron. Zips in, or Golden Flash is in control here, up big. It's this three here from Bridget Dunn. Big for the Golden Flashes. Coming down the stretch here in the fourth quarter, Kent State in command, up 67-46. As we take a look at the rebounds per game in the MAC, and we got a couple of them here in this one, and they've all three of them have shown up again here, cleaning up the glass.
Yes, they have, and especially I think it helps that Katie Shoemate and Bridget Dunn are on that list, two Golden Flashes, compared to only one Zip and Reagan Bass, even though she's the leader. It takes a team, it takes a village to come out and win a game, especially in this one, and that's exactly what we've seen from the Golden Flashes here.
Bass has 6 rebounds, Shoemate 5, Dunn with 6. As Kent State's done a good job keeping Reagan in control. She averages a double-double a game, and we'll see if she gets in at any point. She might be done for the rest of this one, but 8 points and 6 rebounds tonight, well below her averages.
Great effort from Reagan Bass. She really left it all out on the floor, especially in a rivalry game, but Kent State just found a level that we really haven't seen defensively, especially against a team like Akron are on their home floor in a rivalry matchup. Great job by the Flashes to execute on the defensive side of the ball.
A couple threes don't fall for the Zips. as they will try to regroup for these next 4 games. Still have a chance to make it into the MAC tournament. They'll have a tough task going to Ball State next, who is right up there at the top of the MAC. Then they get Northern Illinois and Ohio at home, close the season out at Central Michigan. So there's opportunities still on the schedule for them to get some wins and get into the MAC tournament. Blocked on the other end by Bridget Dunn.
Ooh. Now Kent State pushing the tempo once more.
Inside Morris, muscles, too much.
Now for Akron, I can only imagine it's all about chipping away, you know, getting these reserve some action in the final 2 minutes. Just something good to take away from this. Maybe going a scoring run, because the comeback may seem a little too high of a mountain to climb. Obviously we've seen crazier, but I don't want to rule that out. But for now, as we sit here and talk about it, it's just a matter of, you know, trying to get a little bit of momentum before their next outing.
They will be back in action on the 28th. Mobley unable to convert the 3-point play. Been a tough go of it for Coach Ryan Gensler in his first season, but he's had success at his previous stops. Got Illinois into the NCAA tournament as an assistant coach last season, something the Illini hadn't done in a long time. So I think they've got the right guy here at Akron. It's just going to take a little bit of time, as it usually does when a new coach comes in.
And yeah, we mentioned it a couple of times here this afternoon. You're trying to establish a culture, new coach, new, obviously, values, teachings, that type of thing. So it's going to take a change, but the pieces are there for Akron. It's just now it's a little bit of a struggle with the fact that you got a coach that's coming up in his first season here with your program.
And this is not an easy conference either.
No.
to try and rebuild it. I mean, Ball State, Toledo, Kent State, all having successful. The fact that this Kent State team is the 3 seed, I think, tells you everything you need to know about where this conference is. On the other end, Abby Ogle gets it to go.
And Todd Starkey has been very vocal about this year and last year when it comes to the tournament. He doesn't see why the MAC can't be a 2 or 3 bid team in the conference-wise. There are very much teams that, even though they don't win the conference, I could see them making the tournament. But again, it's just a matter of when will that narrative change? Who is going to be the one to put that second MAC team in there? Because I feel as though that all 3 of the teams that you said, Ball State, Toledo, and Kent State, regardless of if they win the conference, they can really give teams a run for their money in the tournament.
So Kent State, wire to wire, will come away with the rivalry here, a rivalry win, excuse me. And move to 16-8 on the year, 11-3 in the MAC. They were tested. Akron gave them a fight in that second quarter, grabbed a little bit of momentum, but Golden Flashes took over in the third and fourth quarter here especially.
It was all about trying to find that pace of play that they had in the first, that they just didn't have in the second, especially down the stretch. So it was like Todd Starkey just kind of said, girls, are we going to do it? And that's exactly what they did, to the tune of a 72, maybe 73-48 score here as we come up on the final moments.
We talked about the rebounding a little bit ago too. Reagan Bass, 7th all-time now at Akron in rebounds, so she moved into 10th all-time in scoring. It's been a great day for Reagan Bass, just not the result the Zips wanted. That's a good way to end it, though.
Yes, it is, on a 3-ball. No doubt about it.
And that will do it as Kent State gets back in the win column. They sweep the regular season series with the Akron Zips, a 73-51 win.
Just an all-time team performance from Kent State this season. It didn't just take Katie Schumann like we talked about. Yeah, she's the star on this team, but it took all 5 players that were out on the floor, scoring, rebounding, dishing it out defensively, total team win that Todd Starkey has got to be proud of.
Yeah, this was the bounce back win they wanted after that tough loss at OU on Wednesday. Get back home against your rival, and leave no doubt about it. They really pushed their will on Akron here tonight and got the win 73-51. As you take a look at the final stats here, turnovers pretty much even, but the points in the paint, and we talked about the height that Kent State doesn't really have, but they found a way to take it over in the paint.
Like we mentioned, they try to get physical down low. Yes, Akron does beat them in height. We talked about it all day long, but Kent State just executed down low. They also got the draws. They got to the free throw line, and I feel like that's a big reason as to why the score is the way it was today. Just the fact that they got down low, they got the easy buckets, and when they didn't, they got contact and executed at the line.
Take a look now at the upcoming schedule here as these two teams wrapping up their seasons quickly. Akron will travel to Ball State and then have 2 more home games with Northern Illinois and Ohio. Close the season out at Central Michigan. Golden Flashes will hit the road. They'll go up to Ypsilanti to take on Eastern, and then Buffalo, and then boy, oh boy, those last 2 games on the schedule.
Oh yeah.
Ball State and Toledo. The script makers couldn't have written it any better with the top 3 seeds all kind of playing each other here at the end of the schedule.
And the fact that the Ball State game, March 6th on ESPNU, the whole nation is going to get to watch these 2 MAC powerhouses duke it out. It's going to be a fun ending here for both teams, and especially on the Akron side. Can they find a new level and try to get in? It's going to be fun to watch here in the next couple of weeks.
Isn't this a great time of the season?
Oh, it's the best, isn't it?
It's so good. So good. Well, that is going to do it for us here from Kent State as the Golden Flashes get the win. For Matt Crawley, I'm Andy Jardy saying so long as the Golden Flashes get the win here tonight, 73-51. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.